What's going on, traders? Welcome to the channel. My name's John. That's Groot. We trade options here. So subject today, PLTR, TSLA. Here's my strategy on these trades. Now, there's been a big correction the last few weeks. I know it's been painful for a lot of people, not only myself included, but point being, the narrative hasn't actually changed for most of these companies. I haven't seen them issue any reports or statements that their earnings will be a miss or anything along those lines. And for that reason, I'm seeing a lot of discounts on the table, and that's time to build out my long-term positions. And this is happening actually faster than I thought, but it's okay as long as these keep going down and there is no real change in sentiment. I'm okay averaging down lower. To give you an idea, this is it. It's a really simple strategy for me. I'm bullish on Palantir, Tesla, genomic space, and then crypto. Crypto is maybe about 2 to 3 years for me, but the rest of these are about a 5 to 10 year holding pattern that I'm interested in. So I'll lay out the strategy. It's really simple. I trade options for income. Usually that income comes in weekly, monthly, and then I use segments of that income to establish my long-term positions, and then I also use it to grow that income snowball further. So with Tesla and Palantir, there is no change in the story. They're still doing business as usual. They're still growing as usual. They're still acquiring customers as usual. So nothing's really changed. I mean, all that you're seeing is actually a discount in the stock price. And so for me, my opinion is that anything that goes lower in that way, and we're still seeing the demand there, no change in their story and their business, well, then in that case, I can get shares at a discount. So that's been the goal, the plan here. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at these trades. All right, you guys, so we're looking here. Basically, I picked up a few things, got a couple shares in Tesla, and then I also have a call debit spread that I opened up. It's a ways up there at the 680, 695 level. But realistically, if I have to, I can start closing these down and opening up a different position as needed or adjust. But like I was saying, there's not a lot that have changed here. I think the worst thing I'm seeing is April 1st. Realistically, it should have gone out further in time, maybe like end of April, maybe sometime in June for expiration. That would have given me a little more room to run, but at the same time, it would have been a little more expensive there. BNGO, I'm holding 100 shares. I'm doing a covered call on this, so I did just open up something that's closing out next week. It's just a short call against my 100 shares. And on this covered call, I'm looking to collect about $60, $62. So not too bad. If these get called away, they're at the $10 strike. I'm okay with that because that would be a big difference from where we're at now at $7.77. Okay, next was Palantir. I've still got my leap from a while back, and I'm pretty close to cost basis on that. I've almost collected as much as the 580 here, but then now I have actually picked up some debit spreads here. So I've basically purchased some call debit spreads. They're June 18th for expiration. So that's 102 days away. These are at the 25 and 30 for the spread. So that's a pretty good looking spread. I'll do an analysis so you can see. But in essence, where we are at is that I need to see Palantir kind of go up to about the $30 level. If it starts going higher, we should be looking pretty good, but there's some good potential in this trade here. Oh, and it's actually factoring in my other. There we go. Let's cut that out. So to give you an idea, as we are hitting $30, my theoretical profit could go to about $1,100 in this trade. So nothing too amazing per se, but I'm using very little amounts of money. Essentially, I've used $300 in the capability to control 300 shares. So that's not too bad. That's a well worthwhile trade for me. And then lastly, GameStop. This looks pretty good too. I've got, this is set to close out at about I think an $1,800 or $1,900 gain for me. Let's see, 2320 minus 660. So, okay, 1600. So I'm getting close. I'm about 700 away from my profit target. But this GameStop's looking pretty good. Okay, so next let's jump into the Robinhood account. I'll show you all the bleeding, but where I'm at and why I think this is important. All right, so you're gonna see here that the account's been taking a hit, down a bit over just the week alone. We're at about 2400, currently sitting at 17.6. But again, like I was telling you, I'm not as concerned as could be. You know, you're seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum going higher. That's great news. Mara is a big portion of my holdings right now, and that's related to Bitcoin and crypto. Nvidia popped again, which is interesting. But to give you an idea, Tesla is a big portion of my account here. I'm sitting at about 35% of account on Tesla, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. And then also Palantir, I picked up a few shares here. So my total right now is about 215 shares, and I'm at a 24.75 cost basis. So I'm a little bit away from it now, but my plan is I want to build this out to about 300 in the short term shares, and then I want to also kind of scale out to about 500 shares, and then I'd be looking at profit targets anywhere in the realm of $100 to $150 a share, which is a ways out, but that is kind of my long-term plan and approach with Palantir. And another thing you can really see is, you know, Palantir's been taking a beating the last few weeks too. So let's jump into TradingView. I'll just kind of show you some of what I'm looking at and approaching now. Oh, this is a little hard to see, I think. Let's see. Okay. There we go. All right. So basically in Tesla, you can see on the daily chart currently, you know, we were sitting up around 900 and then started dropping significantly. And you'll see the volume hasn't been so high during the sell-off period other than recently. And what's nice about that is you can see as we go more recently, the biggest volume day was actually when we hit sort of recently new lows, sort of tested a support line, and then decided to come up off the lows. So that's a good sign. Today, not so great, but it is on low volumes. That's fine. And we didn't really break the previous candle, so I like that too. But to give you an idea, sort of the support zone I'm looking to be buying shares at is going to be anywhere. Oh, come on, lower. There we go. It's going to be anywhere in between here. So if we're sitting below 600, I'm pretty happy purchasing shares, but anywhere in this level of kind of support, and there's a little bit of no man's land all the way to about 500 or so. But again, if I can pick up Tesla shares at 500, I am very happy with that, especially over the long term. Okay, next is going to be Palantir. You're looking at something similar. We've popped off, and then same thing, biggest volume selling day. We came off the lows and it came here, and then that has been pretty good recent price action. So it does tell me that there is some opportunity that maybe we could go lower and retest here. But as well as that, it looks like we could start to stabilize a little bit and either move higher or just kind of stay in this range for a little bit. And that's kind of the biggest thing I'm watching for. But I've been able to lower my cost basis significantly over the last few weeks, and that's been okay with Palantir. Now, as we look here at the S&P 500 at SPY, there's a couple things I'm looking at that I do like here. Now, as we just scale out to longer term, you'll see clearly it's an uptrend. That's perfect. But what I really like here is that we're seeing higher lows each time. So, you know, as we've gone here, these are higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And I'll go to the weekly just so you can see that too. But we're seeing basically the same thing, where that's a little more dramatic probably, but each of these bars are higher lows. And so you can just follow that natural trend line up, and that's okay. I don't mind even if we sat here for a little bit, but it looks to me like there's an opportunity that we go higher from here. And if that's the case, I have no idea where we go. The vaccines are coming out fast. There's travel. I mean, everyone wants to travel, myself included, do stuff that isn't related to all the stuff we've done in the last year. So it seems like that is coming to fruition. You know, I'd say if that doesn't happen, that could be a tricky part. But yeah, that's something to look out for. And lastly is the VIX, the volatility index. This is something I watch significantly, and what you want to see here with the VIX, it's associated with drops in the market as the VIX goes higher. So it's basically an inverse relationship. Now, the key thing you want to look at here is going to be this level here. Let me put a trend line down for you. Okay, so I will put this horizontal line down just so you can see it. And basically every time we get near this level, this is a support that we spike up. So about $20 or so, 20, 23, 19 or so. So the $19 to $20 line has been really important. Every time we get to it, the VIX starts popping off and the market sells off. So you can see these ebbs and flows every couple months that we've had. And this represents a couple things. One, whenever the VIX is elevated like this, the premiums in options are much higher. So this really is helpful for someone who sells options and collects theta gang style. And what that means is that your break evens are higher, you're collecting more money for quote unquote the extra risk that you would take on. And that's generally good for people who are kind of trading safe and smart. The biggest thing is to not over allocate and sort of hurt your account or hurt yourself. So that's kind of the way I see this. So realistically, there's a lot to contend with. But bottom line in my eyes is if Kathy's not selling, I'm not selling. At least the high conviction stocks that she has in her portfolio, they fit in line with exactly what I'm looking forward to. So I'm not that worried in this current environment, and I like the fact that I can get in low and then create a big margin so that hopefully a few years from now the stock price is so high from where I bought in that I don't have to worry about any big volatility spikes. I can just let those ride. So in general, it seems like the selling could start tapering off soon. I really see the possibility that we bounce back maybe within the month, but as always, that could change, so keep your eyes peeled, keep your risk in check, and let me know. I'm curious what you think, if you've added on any trades somewhere or increased your position and been able to get stocks on sale, basically. And if so, what are they? Why? Subscribing's free, so go ahead and subscribe, click the bell if you want more income trading strategy. Thank you again. I'll see you on the next video. Peace. What would DFV do?